This is the mistakes I've made.
Something else.
We all make mistakes, and contrary to popular opinion, I have also made mistakes. What do you mean I'm not perfect? As a first-time thru-hiker, some of those mistakes can be rather large, but some of them are also just annoying little things that I regretted looking back on my decisions. Hi, I'm Katie, aka Double Dip. I've thru-hiked the Colorado Trail, the Muir Trail, the Long Trail, and the Continental Divide Trail, and I have made a whole host of mistakes over my thousands of miles of backpacking. However, as a first-time thru-hiker, these were the main mistakes I made that I really wish I hadn't made looking back. Number 1, I wish I hadn't mailed so many resupplies. On so many of these popular long-distance hiking trails, every town has a grocery store with anything you would need to actually get you from one town to the next. By mailing resupplies in advance, I locked myself into a diet that honestly, by the time I got to those towns, I didn't want to eat anymore. I got so tired of granola bars, but when I rolled into a town and realized that I had spent all my money mailing a box of granola bars to myself, I felt like I had to eat them. Unless you're on a trail that is truly so remote you have no other option, and there are a few towns on the Continental Divide Trail like that, I see no reason to not just pick up your food in town and actually figure out what you want in the moment. Also, as an added benefit, it's going to be cheaper in the long term if you don't have to pay for postage, and it feels like you're doing your part to support the local communities that do so much to support thru-hikers in return. Lesson learned: save the postage, support the town, and eat what I actually want to eat. Don't mail resupply boxes unless you absolutely have to. Number 2 is that I really carried this whole 3 square meals a day mentality from real life into the trail, and that just did not work for me personally. I would eat a really big breakfast, really big lunch, really big dinner, but when you're expending that many calories out on a trail, it kind of wasn't enough. I couldn't physically eat enough to stay healthy and stay in a good mood while I was backpacking. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that all I needed to do was introduce snacks. I know, revolutionary concept, but it really did take me several hundred miles before I realized, oh my God, what if I just eat something in between breakfast and lunch? It changed everything for me. I became a much more pleasant person to hike around, and I felt so much stronger every day. Now, when I backpack, I feel like I eat mostly snacks. All of my breakfast and lunch are just kind of this long hodgepodge of snacks every hour or so until I get to the main course of dinner at the end of the day. It might not feel like it because I'm not eating a big meal 3 times a day, but I'm actually getting in way more calories than I had been before. If you're constantly cranky, if you're constantly tired, it actually might not be the trail. It might be you. You might just be hungry. Eat a Snickers. Number 3 is so stupid that I fully invite you guys to laugh at me in the comments below. About halfway through my first thru-hike, I got to town, I was pulling out the things in my pack, I was trying to make decisions on things that I wasn't using, and I thought, oh my God, you know what a perfect way to lighten my load would be? I'm gonna send home my bug spray. I've only used it a handful of times, I'm sure it's really not that bad. I mailed that bad boy home, walked out of town, and immediately had the worst dinner I've ever had, where I'm trying to shovel food into my stomach and get into my tent while a million mosquitoes are all trying to take pieces of me with them. The lesson learned from this: 1, don't make gear decisions when you're a little bit tipsy at a bar, and 2, mosquitoes can show up at any time. If you're trying to cut pack weight, bug spray is probably not where I would start. I could have started with my stuffed animal. Number 4 is that I was way too stressed out the entire time. And if you know me, you probably know that that's not really a surprise. I'm very type A, I'm an over planner. But for my first thru-hike, I picked a trail that didn't need that much logistics, and I really stressed myself out about everything for no reason. Things that took me a while to learn. There is no leaving camp on time. The right time to leave camp is when you wake up and you want to start hiking. Tell me why I was stressing myself out about being late while I was 400 miles in the backcountry surrounded by nobody and without a very harsh deadline to finish the trail. I wasn't late, I was just relaxing. Number 2 is you don't need to eat lunch at lunchtime. I would again stress myself out about making the miles needed before having lunch at 1 or 2 p.m., when instead I probably could have just sat down whenever I was hungry, had a snack, kept going, and it would have been fine. Number 3, I would lock myself into a daily mileage. I would wake up and say, I'm hiking 27 miles today, here's where I'm camping, and if I don't do that, I've failed. Even if then, throughout the day, I just didn't feel well and didn't want to hike that much, I forced myself to do it. Conversely, sometimes I would have a lower mileage day built in and I would say, okay, I'm only hiking 15 miles today. I'd get to camp, I'd feel great, I'd be bored, but too bad. That was the goal I set and I hit it, so I'm not hiking any more miles. My advice would be this: if you have a strict daily mileage you need to reach, that's fine. Know that in advance, plan some things around that, but also listen to your body and let your mileage ebb and flow with how you're feeling each day. The quality of your sleep the night before, the amount you've eaten, just where you're at physically that day is going to have a pretty big effect on how many miles you want to hike. Give yourself the ability to hike fewer miles and trust that you're going to make it up some point later.
Yes.
Okay, if you're my tramley, stop listening and know that I do love you guys, but I wish I'd hiked alone a lot more than I did. I started my first thru hike alone, which was great, and I had all these ideas about the self-actualization and the realizations I was gonna have while alone in the wilderness. And then day one, I stumbled upon a group of people who seemed really fun, and I hiked the whole thing with them. Do I regret it? Not necessarily, but looking back, I do think I would have benefited from figuring out how I hike alone before figuring out how I hike with a group. As an introvert, there were even days where I was so fed up with the company and I was so crabby and all I wanted was some alone time, but I was terrified that if I took a day alone, I would never catch up and I would lose them for the rest of the trail. Put your mind at ease. The trail is long. If people want to reconnect, you can find a way to do that. Don't be afraid to take some time for yourself and figure out your own hiking style before immediately attaching yourself to a tramley. Continuing with the trend of very egregiously stupid decisions I made on my first thru hike, I started the trail in a brand new pair of shoes. And by brand new, I mean one day before starting the trail, I went to the REI in Denver and I bought a new pair of Hoka Speed Goats. Why Hoka Speed Goats? I read an article online saying that they were the best shoe for thru hikers, and so I bought them, and my goodness, they did not work for me. I spent the first 100 miles performing near surgery every night on the blisters on my feet. Never once did I stop and think, maybe shoes are kind of a personal decision, and whatever article someone published saying these are the best shoes might not just be universally applicable. Flash forward to several thru hikes later, I've tested out many different shoes. I found things that work better for me. Hoka Speed Goat, great shoe for some people, does not fit my feet. My tip for you would be don't try out a new pair of shoes literally day one of the thru hike. Give yourself some time to figure out what actually works for your feet and then use that going forward. The next mistake I made was packing all of my fears. A few things, that's fine. I think everyone should have a robust med kit. I think everyone should have layers in case they get too cold, especially if they're new to backpacking and they don't really know what they're gonna need, but I went a little bit overboard. Not only did I insist on packing the 10-degree quilt instead of the 20-degree quilt, the down booties, the additional down jacket, the extra hat, but I also was very tied to this idea of being an ultralight backpacker, so I was trying to shove all of that into a very small backpack. When I look back at the pictures of me hiking, it's a little bit comical how this backpack simply does not fit my gear and does not fit my body. I'm sure you've heard it before, but I'll say it again. You should pick your pack based on your gear, not vice versa. The pack should be the last thing you buy when you're building out a kit. As you get more comfortable with backpacking and you get more experience, you might feel better about not packing all of your fears, but until that point, don't try to cram everything in a backpack just because, again, the internet told you to do it. Next, the first few days of a thru hike, especially if it's your first thru hike, is going to be such a culture shock to your body. I knew I was going to be tired, but I don't think I realized the extent to which this was going to affect me. And by that, I mean I didn't poop for 4 days, I didn't sleep well for 4 days, I didn't have an appetite, and I didn't want to drink water. The worst thing you can do in this situation is also force your body to do too many miles too quickly. Let yourself ease into it, give yourself grace. It's okay if you reach camp early and you're a little bored. I promise your body is still going to really appreciate that rest. I remember thinking that I felt like a failure if I got to camp at 2 p.m. and then didn't continue, but what I didn't realize is never in my life before had I woken up at 5 a.m. and then hiked consistently until 2 p.m. That's still a crazy toll to put on your legs and your hips. Especially if you're trying to avoid injury in those first few 100 miles. Just take it easy. Give yourself grace to slow down just a little bit. And finally, when we talk about food and water, even if your body doesn't want it, your body needs it. Maybe this is just the curse of growing up a woman, but I think sometimes weight loss, especially while thru hiking, is so over-romanticized. The best nutrition strategy you can have is the one that keeps you at a stable weight throughout the entire trail. I know sometimes it feels like we're just all in the woods goofing around and having fun, but we're all doing a really incredible athletic pursuit, and you need to properly fuel your body in order to make that happen successfully. It not only means food, but water as well. Sometimes, especially at high altitude or if it's too cold, you just might not want to drink anything. You need to. Speaking as someone who struggles to drink water, you need to find little ways to make it fun, whether that's flavored drink mixes or just forcing yourself to chug a liter at every source to get it over with. Some of the discomforts that come with thru hiking are unavoidable, but you are going to feel so much better with a full belly and a hydrated body.
I don't want to do it!
The biggest mistake of all I made on my first thru hike is I didn't vlog for the trek. For my other hikes, I have the memories to look back on, I can see what I was thinking, and I could share the experience with my friends and family, and that's why if you are thru hiking this year, make sure to go down into the description. I'll drop a link and you can apply to be a blogger. Not only is it a really great keepsake from your hike, but it also means we can be best friends. Okay, make sure to like and subscribe, and if I missed anything or if you've done any really embarrassing things from your first thru hike, please let me know so I feel better about my mistakes. I hope to see you out there, hopefully fully hydrated and with your bug spray. Okay, happy trails. Oh.